Hello, thank you for joining me here. This is a somewhat rare video in that it is not a haul. This is a video of brands that are new to me that I will be on the lookout for. I don't exactly call them bolos because I feel like a lot of people in the resale community think bolo means just buy it, but they're not. They're new brands that look like they have a lot of potential. The comps look good. The retail price on most of them, or all of them actually, were pretty darn high. So they're brands that are just good to know. And if you find them, then you should take the moment to look at comps. Some of them had, I would say, good comps all across the board. Some of them had a range, and that could be a combination of, certain styles of a certain brand are in demand, or it could be that some of them are sellers that don't really know what they have. And I do learn new brands all the time from watching other reseller videos, but I don't share those here because that's their brands. I learn my new brands almost exclusively from shopping online auctions. When I am away for work, I'll spend time shopping online because I have the time and I don't really go out sourcing necessarily, though some of my stops I have been sourcing. So I'm currently in Oklahoma, and these are 12 brands. 11 of them I learned from online shopping. One of them I did not. So we're going to jump right into it. I will tell you a little bit about the company because maybe that will help it, stick a little bit. I will show what I can as far as what does the label look like, what are the sale prices, what are the sold prices. Okay, so the first one is Louisa Blue. For each of these brands, if you have information, let me know. Do you have experience with them? Has it gone well? Is it new to you? Is this of any value? All right. Louisa Blue is a luxury clothing designer who creates resort wear and swimwear. Her designs are inspired by her coastal upbringing in Charleston, South Carolina. Her design aesthetic is vibrant prints, innovative silhouettes, cutout detailing, asymmetric constructions, and O-ring hardware embellishments. So, in a nutshell, probably not anything that I would wear, but this isn't about me. Obviously, with things like this, you're going to use keywords like luxury clothing and resort wear, vacation, holiday. I found the comps on this one to be very up and down. I have my laptop over here, so I will refer to it when I need to because all I have written really is about the company. I love to go when I learn any brand. I type in Louisa Blue about. I like to read about them, where they come from, that sort of thing. So yeah, swimwear, probably the type of thing, if you saw it, unless you just don't do swimwear, you might take a second look at anyway. The next one is Langlet's Leathers. I'm a big fan of jackets. I like leather stuff, love leather jackets. Langlet's Leathers is a family business that was established in 1947 by Ross Langlet's. While we are no longer a basement operation, we stay small to guarantee the quality and personal attention that larger corporations just cannot provide. We specialize in custom-made motorcycle leathers, jackets, pants, and vests, but also offer a wide variety of bags and accessories. Many of our products can be seen in our catalog and on our website. However, there is a plethora of items that we do not publish or post. If you're looking for an item you don't see, just ask. We build the finest quality leathers, and we are proud to carry all made in the USA products. So I have several companies here that deal in leather. Rule of thumb, if you see a good leather, look up the brand. Even a not really known brand, if it's a good leather, you might want to consider picking it up at the right price. That goes for jackets, goes for boots, shoes, bags. Langlet seems like a small company, and the odds of you finding it are maybe not that great. But every one of these items I did see on online auctions, so people do get rid of them. The next one, and there's two with an odd name like this, Bowman's Wilson. So apparently there was a Wilson boot company, which was taken over by the Bowman family. So they called it Bowman's Wilson because they didn't want to lose the Wilson. Wilson, boots were known, I guess. I couldn't even find a website for them. What I found for the about information was 2 different Montana travel websites that mention it. So maybe if you're in Montana, you have a better chance of finding it. I don't know. Maybe people in Montana know what it is and are less likely to donate it, or if they do, it'll get picked up, like that. So it says Bowman's Wilson Boot Company commemorates and preserves the American cowboy, a truly endangered species. In 1947, Wilson boots were introduced with the principle of making the best quality tools for the working cowboy to date. That tradition is still carried on by the Bowman family. Since 1945, all of our boots are made the old-fashioned way, all handmade. Each pair is one of a kind, bearing the benchmark distinction of quality and value. These are the best boots money can buy. Every Bowman's Wilson boot is handcrafted from start to finish by experienced bootmakers in the mountains of Montana, offering the original hitched horsehair products from Montana State Prison, belts and hat bands, also 100% silk neckerchiefs. Is that a legit word? With rags, solids to jacquard prints. We are on the main route going through town toward Yellowstone National Park. We are always ready to talk boots or share a good story. So small company seems like. I would love to find one of these. If finding things were to be made a goal for me, that would be a goal, but I don't make it a goal because there's nothing I can do to achieve it. To me, a goal is something you see, and you see the steps to get there. Other than just sourcing and remembering it, there's nothing that I can do to make Bowman's Wilson boots magically appear. Again, as I mentioned with leather, especially boots, I'm going to stop and look. And if they're a nice looking boot or a classic style, like an engineer boot, a cowboy boot, I'm going to look it up. And if it's the right price, even if I can't find the brand, I might still pick it up. And when I say the right price, that doesn't necessarily mean the bins, because these boots can be very heavy, and actually the best price is not found at the bins, depending on your bins. At certain bins, they have a different price for shoes, or they have a single price for shoes. Our bins went up from $189 to $209. Well, a sturdy pair of engineer boots can be about 5 pounds. So that's over $10. You need to think about that. Not that a good pair of engineer boots in the right brand aren't worth $10. I'm not saying that at all. Okay, next up, Wandler bags. Wandler is a luxury brand which is committed to redefine craftsmanship with an expertise and passion in leather. Clear in function, yet refined in shape, Wandler combines a crisp take on femininity with an intelligent use of color while staying true to her Dutch DNA. So I saw retail, they're like mid 400s. There were a lot at $545, and then there were a lot at $985. So they're quite pricey retail. We all know that retail and resale are not necessarily the same thing. But before I put anything on the list, I did check to make sure that there was a good enough market resale, that they're not, $400 and reselling for $20, because that could happen. Excuse me. First thing in the morning, I need my green tea. Next is Tricker Shoes. They are the shoemakers for His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales. So you know it's good, and you know it's pricey. Founded in 1829, Trickers is proudly the oldest established shoemaker in Britain. Still owned by the founding family, our commitment to making shoes and boots of outstanding quality remains wholeheartedly consistent. Trickers footwear is made entirely from start to finish in our Northampton factory, and whilst, that's how you know they're British, they use the word whilst. I bet you don't find that in any US abouts. And whilst manufacturing processes have changed over time, our craftspeople continue to follow the traditional techniques developed over decades. They are pricey at retail. I'm talking like chukka boots at $800, as expected. I did see some comps that were not that great, like $35. I think if I found Tricker shoes for, $5 or under, I would probably buy them no matter what, because I do like to introduce a new brand that's on my list that I'm, interested in to my closet whenever possible, even if it's not the best item of it. If it was a little more expensive, I'd have to probably look into that particular pair. If they were in bad shape, same thing. But I think that pretty much applies to everything, especially as you're getting to know a brand. Even if you heard on a video, this is a bolo, you should buy this brand. When you're sourcing, I believe, I believe that it's kind of that anything worth doing is worth doing, right? Take the time to look up a comp. If you don't have a long time in the store, maybe you'll see less things, but at least you'll have thoroughly seen what you saw. Next, Raven Kaufman. Raven Kaufman is a Los Angeles-based designer who creates couture bags and other accessories. Her work is inspired by history, nature, and textiles. That's all I have to say about Raven Kaufman. I did not notice a pervasive style type when I was looking, but should I look right now? Raven Kaufman, let's see what I see. I didn't want this video to go really long. If you have time, I recommend maybe looking up the items as I'm saying it or afterwards. I do see a clutch that's very crocky, and I think there's not a lot of, I don't think there's a ton of stuff. I don't see any bright colors, the embossed stuff. There's even a ring here, so they do other things. Raven Kaufman. I think with names like that, if you've heard it once, if you see it again, hopefully it'll be like, that sounds familiar, I should look that up. Okay, the next one is a handbag company called Senreve. I will be writing the names there, Senreve. I wasn't sure if it was Senrive or Senreve, but the definition, the name is derived from the French words for sense and dream, and I know dream is rêve. Like the show at the Wynn, La Rêve, which I saw early on and did not care for. Anyway, we believe women are multifaceted and can have it all, no compromise necessary. Senreve is built upon the coexistence. Oh, this is such marketing speech. I don't marketing speak. I don't even understand it. I'm a simple person. Senreve is built upon the coexistence of dichotomies, everyday and fantasy, tradition and innovation, design and versatility, creating an elevated experience that defies trade-offs. This philosophy is behind everything we do and built into our name, which is derived from the French word for sense and dream. So here's one thing I noticed about Senreve. A lot of people put it in as Sanrev, S-A-N, instead of S-E-N. And I discovered this because I accidentally put it in as S-A-N. So I found at least 8 listed items. Oops, did this just move? I did definitely hit something. I don't know if this is the best setup, whatever. I did type in Sanrev and several items pulled up and they had written as Sanrev everywhere. And even in this is on Poshmark, of course. So even on the line where it says the company, they would put in Sanrev. One of them had Sanrev in the title and Sanrev in the company name. So the reason I'm bringing that up is, knowing this, I would obviously want my listing to be correct, but at the bottom where I sometimes throw in a few appropriate keywords, I would throw in sans rev, because I made the mistake and typed in sans rev. People that literally have the bag in front of them still don't know that it says sans rev instead of sans rev. So I would type in sans rev as well, so that somebody typing in sans rev will pull up. Like there's a website specifically for looking for things, I believe on eBay, with spelling errors. I want to say it's called Camel Camel Camel. I don't know if it's still around. I haven't done it in ages. But one way to try to find a better deal on something is to find it where it's got a typo or misspelled, and that way the majority of people looking for it will not see that item. And if it's on auction, it won't go for as much. Okay. Never know when a little tip can be thrown in my videos. All right, next one. This is the one that I did not discover from online auctions. Aha. It is called Zulia and Whippa. Whippa. I feel like that's from Friends. Whippa. So I was at the Tulsa International Airport, and I was early because I'm always early. And on this particular day, I was extra early because I had arranged for the shuttle from the hotel, and they called me in my room and said there was a conflict and could I go earlier? And I was like, I'm ready to go now. So I went and I wandered and I went through the shop, and there I learned a lesson. It's like, whenever you have the opportunity, wander through. You can learn new brands. You can see a style that's like everywhere in the shop that you didn't know was, popular. I have to remember that here because I have not been in the gift shop on this visit, and I don't even think I went before, and they do have nice stuff here. So I got to check that out. That's how I learned about Myra bags, by going into a shop when I was at oh God, what's it called? Oh my God. Hoover Dam. So anyway, Zulia and Whippa is a brand specializing in handcrafted accessories and clothing made by the Mayan community in Mexico, combining ancient textile techniques with contemporary designs while focusing on sustainability and supporting small local weaving cooperatives and women's groups to preserve indigenous culture through their products. Zulia is a Mayan name meaning pouring river, and Whippa refers to a traditional Mayan garment. So reading this, I would expect a lot of bright colors and tapestries, but this is not what I saw. I saw handbags, and when I looked it up on Poshmark, I saw handbags. Though it says they make clothing, I didn't really look at that. Anyway, what I noted about this store, circling back. Okay, so I went into this store. Again, I'm going off track again. I know a lot of resellers will go to retail stores to learn about new styles and everything, and I don't do that because I hate retail shopping. So this is now I can see why they probably benefit from that, but I'm still not going to do that. But if there's a gift shop in a hotel or in the airport, I will wander through. This particular gift shop was beautiful stuff. It was tons of Pendleton. Beautiful Pendleton with what I'm talking about, the colorful, tapestry type stuff, and so expensive. Like a t-shirt was over $100. So then I saw this handbag, and it was a beautiful leather bag. I think it was like mixed leather with maybe some calf hair, very neutral toned, looked very hand done. Like instead of the seams being sewn like this, they were just butted up against each other and then looked hand stitched. And I didn't see the price on them. I went to the section where it was 50% off, and there was one there for $100. So that means it was $200, which in the world of handbags is not super expensive. I don't think I've ever spent $200 in a handbag, and I'm certain I will not. But so they're not low priced, but they're beautiful. When I looked on Poshmark, I did see some that were a little less neutral. Like there was one that was black, and it did have a somewhat colorful like band, like a wide band, almost like a guitar strap type band. So I'm not sure what to expect there. But I will say this, knowing the name or not knowing the name, I feel like if you saw their pieces, you would stop and look it up without having to have someone say, oh, Zulia and Wipa is worth looking at. You will know it by the piece and the quality. But that's the case with a lot of these, you know, like I imagine that I've never picked up a Tricker shoe, but I imagine you would immediately know, like, oh, this looks like a good quality shoe. I should look this up. Okay, next is Taft. Taft was born out of a mutual love for unique designed and well-made products. We're meticulous in our work, intentional in our designs, and obsessive over what makes the cut. So Taft is also shoes and boots, I believe, because I don't know, it seems like that. Yeah, here we go. I see like ankle boots, men's ankle boots. Here's some men's shoes. Taft the Rome shoe, brown, $84. Men's stuff, but as I recall, they have women's as well. Maybe they started out as men's. So sold price is 100, 125, 90, 55, 59. So they run the gamut, you know, from decent to really good. All right, we're moving along because it's already 21 minutes and I didn't want this to be long, which is why a lot of the information will be more in pictures, I think. 4 C's. Writing that down because when I saw it, I was like, I assume that's pronounced 4 C's. I don't know if it's a play, you know, if it's a funny spelling and it's, you know, like nautical, like 4 C's, S-E-A-S, or 4 C's the future. So when I did the about, I was very happy that it's explained the name because I was curious about that. But it's a footwear brand that combines comfort with fashion-forward designs. The brand was founded by Korean-born designer Sang-min Park in 2019. The brand's name comes from Park's 4 guiding principles: confidence, comfort, contemporary, and curiosity. Park worked for fashion houses like Alexander McQueen and was the head designer at United Nude. Well, I have never heard of United Nude, so now we're learning a bonus brand, which I didn't look up. That could be your homework. Look up United Nude. Should that be on a list like this? I will do it later. Maybe I'll throw something on there. You never know. I saw this on auction and it was getting all these bids and I'm like, what is that? Like the name does not scream, check this out. I'm an expensive company. Next is Jose Luis. Jose Luis, once I read the explanation, is the type of thing that if I saw without knowing the name, I would look it up anyway. Specializing in premier high-end Western wear for men and women, Jose Luis designs are handcrafted to order. Made of only the highest quality leathers, construction and hand stitching techniques are similar to those used when the West was won. So I had one Western shirt that was a custom made shirt. It was a, I can't remember his name, but he used to work for Nudie, who did all the like rhinestone cowboy type things for like Glenn Campbell and movies and stuff. Very, very big. He had a store in North Hollywood, and I used to drive by it. And anyway, this guy was one of his apprentices, and I got this shirt through a friend who was working as a personal assistant for somebody. And so it was a famous singer, which unfortunately I was not able to put in the listing because that might have helped it sell. I don't know. I tried to find pictures of him and it couldn't. So anyway, so custom, I think, can do very well. I think it can also be a slower seller. Like that shirt didn't sell very quickly and I got a decent amount for it, but I was hoping for more. Anyway, I saw a Jose Luis and I really wanted to win it, but the bidding went too high. And finally, Alden Shoe Company. It's a family-owned American company that makes men's dress shoes and boots. Founded in 1884 by Charles H. Alden. Alden is the last remaining original New England shoemaker. So I like to find men's things. And I was just watching a video where she said something about the breakdown of buyers on eBay and that it's actually a higher percentage of men than it is women. I would say it's completely the opposite on Poshmark, but I think that doesn't necessarily hurt men's sales because a lot of times who shops for the men's clothes is going to be their wives, or at least, you know, will see stuff and go, honey, I'm assuming, I don't know from experience, honey, when you think about these shoes, these look like nice shoes. And I do know when I first started on Poshmark, for the first, I don't know, 6 months or so, my sales were about 60% women, 40% men. It's not like that now, but then again, I have over 1,100 women's items and I only have around 300 men. But I definitely look in the men's section, and I want to make a point of looking at it even a little bit more, because if I do go to a store and I have limited time, I go to the shoes and I go to the women's jackets, maybe the women's dresses, and I don't tend to go to the men's. So maybe a few times I need to switch that up. I don't know. Anyway, has this been at all helpful for you? Would it be better if I talked more about the actual prices on these things? I'm just trying to get you to, and me, to learn brands. And then when we're in the store, we're going to look it up and we're going to look up comps. So I didn't want this to run because it's now over 26 minutes. I didn't need it to run any longer than this. I did have a few other brands that were on here that I decided to take off just because the comps were not exactly where I wanted them to be, but 2 of them were like leather companies, I think boots, whatever. And as I mentioned before, that's a category that is, I think, always worth stopping to look at and look up. It tends to bring my bins total up quite a bit because that kind of stuff is heavier, but the return on investment is higher. I mean, unless you find, a great brand or whatever, it's going to be higher than, a shirt. Most of the time, all things being equal, like, an equal level of brand. Let me know if you know these brands. Let me know if you find this sort of thing helpful. I will say that I would do it anyway because I think it's partly for me. And maybe I have a better chance after doing this of like it actually sticking. I don't know. In one of these a long time ago, I mentioned Cotopaxi. And then sometime later, I was at the bins in Palm Springs and found a Cotopaxi, and it didn't even ring a bell. I bought it because I liked it and I looked it up and I was like, ooh, this is good. But like, it should have stuck in my head and it didn't. But my memory's not what it used to be. Okay, thank you very much. I'm hoping to have some great hauls coming up for you, but that's something I'm always hoping. Bye.